Hello, history explorers. Get ready for a journey that will completely transform the way you see the world. In this episode, we'll dive into details that few have dared to explore, uncovering secrets that could change how you view Brazilian culture. So, don't miss a single moment of this discover. Like the video, follow the channel, and join us on this unmissable adventure in the lands of Salvador. A place filled with riches, poverty, and natural beauty. 1. Present day. All that glitters is gold. Salvador, a vibrant city full of history, is home to more than 2.9 million residents, making it the fourth largest city in Brazil. The cultural diversity of its population reflects its African, indigenous, and European roots, creating a unique blend that pulses in every corner of the city. However, despite its rich cultural heritage, Salvador faces significant challenges in its economy. In recent years, the city has struggled with high unemployment rates and growing social inequality. The economy, once driven by tourism and the petrochemical industry, suffered during the pandemic, severely impacting small and medium-sized businesses. Many Salvadorans face difficulties finding formal jobs, forcing a large portion of the population to turn to the informal economy to survive. Despite these challenges, the resilient spirit of Salvador's people remains unshaken. Community initiatives and local businesses have been striving to revitalize the economy, while the government seeks new ways to attract investment to the city. Training programs and entrepreneurship incentives are among the strategies being adopted to tackle the economic crisis and improve residents' quality of life. Salvador's economic future depends on a combination of effective public policies and active community engagement. With the revival of tourism and the strengthening of the domestic market, there is hope that the city can overcome its current challenges and build a more prosperous future for all. Salvador, with its history of resilience and innovation, continues to be a symbol of strength and determination in Brazil. 2. The history of slavery in Bahia, where the chains of history still resonate. Bahia was the primary destination for African slaves brought to Brazil, profoundly shaping the region's history. Sugar plantations thrived on the forced labor of millions of men, women, and children. This dark chapter in history left indelible marks on the culture and society of Bahia. Every street in Salvador carries the memories of a time when humanity was subjected to trade and exploitation. It is impossible to walk these streets without feeling the distant echo of the chains that once enslaved so many. Even after the abolition of slavery, the scars of this brutal period remain alive in Bahia's collective memory. Afro-descendant communities in Salvador preserve their traditions and culture as a form of resistance. The African influence is present on every corner, from music to cuisine, from religions to local customs. However, this presence is also a testament to the brutality faced by their ancestors. The resilience of these people not only survived but also thrived, transforming Bahia into a unique cultural mosaic. The sugar farms, once fueled by slave labor, are now historical monuments, bitter reminders of a painful past. These places, which once symbolized oppression, are now spaces for reflection on past injustices. The stories of suffering and resistance from the slaves who worked on these plantations still echo within the walls of these old sugar mills. The struggle for freedom and dignity, fought by their ancestors, continues to inspire current generations. The history of slavery in Bahia serves as a constant reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. Today, Salvador is a place where the history of slavery is told not only in museums, but also through the celebrations and traditions of the Afro-Brazilian community. The legacy left by those who suffered and resisted is visible everywhere, from capoeira circles to candomblé terreiros. The city, with its rich African heritage, stands as a symbol of the ongoing fight for equality and justice. Bahia, once marked by pain, now celebrates the strength and beauty of its African roots. Here, the past and present intertwine in a dance of memory and hope. Before we dive into the cultural impact of Africa on Brazil, open an account at Nomad to travel the world without any currency exchange issues. The link is in the first comment. 3. African cultural impact in Bahia, where Africa meets Brazil. Salvador is a vibrant testament to the African influence in Brazil, with a culture that pulsates with African rhythms and traditions. From music to religion, the African presence is a cornerstone of Bahia's identity. Candomblé, an Afro-Brazilian religion blending African and indigenous elements, is practiced fervently, celebrating ancestry and spirituality. In Salvador, you can hear the sounds of samba de roda, a traditional dance that traces its roots back to Africa, in festivals and celebrations that fill the streets with joy and color. The city is often called the largest African city outside of Africa, reflecting the deep African heritage of its inhabitants. With over 80% of the population of African descent, Salvador proudly carries its Afro-Brazilian identity. The cuisine, with dishes like acarajé and vatapa, reflects the rich cultural mix that defines Bahia. These culinary traditions are not just recipes, but living symbols of a heritage that continues to thrive despite adversity. In Salvador, African traditions are not only preserved but celebrated and expanded. The Mania Festival and other religious celebrations attract visitors from across Brazil and the world, offering an immersion into Afro-Brazilian culture. The city is not just a place of memory, but a vibrant center of living culture, where history and contemporary life meet. Every festival, every ritual, is an expression of the resilience and strength of the Afro-descendant community. The African cultural impact in Bahia is a testament to how traditions can thrive and evolve, even in the face of adversity. Salvador continues to be a beacon of cultural resistance and identity, proudly celebrating its African roots with enthusiasm. The city not only honors its past, but also looks to the future with hope, keeping the traditions that define its unique character alive. Here, Africa and Brazil intertwine in a rich and vibrant tapestry that continues to inspire and fascinate.
4. Resistance and Quilombo's, where freedom found refuge. Quilombo's emerged as bastions of freedom and resistance during slavery, offering a safe haven for runaway slaves. In the dense forests and mangroves of Bahia, these communities found a space to preserve their traditions and rebuild their lives. The Quilombo Kaanj, for example, was founded by fugitives who, with courage and determination, built shelters and established a new life amidst nature. These places were true oases of resistance against oppression. Life in the Quilombos was marked by a deep connection to the land and a strong sense of community. The inhabitants of these refuges used their knowledge of agriculture, hunting, and fishing to sustain their communities. Their ability to live in harmony with the environment was crucial to their survival and prosperity. Additionally, the practice of African traditions and the transmission of ancestral knowledge helped keep African culture alive, even under constant threat. Despite the abolition of slavery, Quilombos have continued to face challenges in securing their land rights. The fight for the legalization and protection of these lands is a battle that persists to this day. Many Quilombos, such as Kaanj, face constant threats of land expropriation and lack of proper infrastructure. The promise of a better life continues to be a daily struggle, while the community perseveres in its efforts to ensure recognition and justice. Today, Quilombos are symbols of resistance and resilience, offering a unique view of the fight for freedom and social justice. They represent a legacy of courage and autonomy that continues to inspire and educate. The preservation of these communities is essential to understanding the complexity of Brazilian history and valuing the contributions of Afro-descendant communities. The story of the Quilombos is a celebration of the fight for dignity and a reminder of the enduring strength of hope and resistance. 5. Social and political challenges of the Quilombos, fighting for rights and recognition. Quilombos face significant social and political challenges in their quest for recognition and rights. Despite laws that guarantee land protection and rights, the reality is often marked by a constant struggle against the threat of expropriation and neglect. The lack of official documentation and the pressure from large landowners make life in the Quilombos a continuous battle to secure the rights they have gained. The determination and resilience of the community are key to facing these adversities. The fight for social justice and Colombo rights is also a struggle against historical inequality. Land redistribution and the implementation of adequate public policies are crucial issues for improving living conditions and ensuring the sustainable development of these communities. The pressure for the government and other institutions to recognize and respect Colombo rights is a vital part of the strategy to overcome these challenges and achieve social equality. In addition to land and rights issues, Colombos also face difficulties in areas such as healthcare and education. The lack of access to basic services and adequate infrastructure is a constant obstacle to the progress of these communities. Mobilizing to ensure improvements in health and education is a priority, aiming to provide better living conditions and opportunities for future generations. The fight for equity is an essential part of the Colombo journey. The challenges faced by the Colombos reflect the broader inequalities present in Brazilian society. However, Colombo communities demonstrate remarkable resilience and a commitment to preserving their identity and rights. Ongoing support and external solidarity are crucial to overcoming barriers and ensuring that Colombos can thrive and maintain their rich cultural heritage in the future. Claro, aqui esta a trajetória para o Ingles mantendo tudo o contudo. 6. Social and political challenges of Colombos. The fight for rights and recognition. Colombos face significant social and political challenges in their quest for recognition and rights. Despite laws guaranteeing protection and land rights, reality often involves a constant struggle against threats of expropriation and neglect. The lack of official documentation and pressure from large landowners turn life in Colombos into an ongoing battle to secure hard-won rights. The community's determination and resilience are fundamental to overcoming these adversities. The fight for social justice and Colombo rights is also a battle against historical inequality. Land redistribution and the implementation of adequate public policies are crucial issues for improving living conditions and ensuring sustainable development for the communities. Pressuring the government and other institutions to recognize and respect Colombo rights is vital in overcoming these challenges and achieving social equality. In addition to land and rights issues, Colombos also face difficulties in areas such as health and education. The lack of access to basic services and adequate infrastructure is a constant obstacle to progress. Mobilization to ensure improvements in health and education is a priority, aiming to provide better living conditions and opportunities for future generations. The struggle for equity is an essential part of the Colombos journey. The challenges faced by Colombos reflect the broader inequalities present in Brazilian society. However, Colombo communities demonstrate impressive resilience and a commitment to preserving their identity and rights. Continued support and external solidarity are crucial to overcoming these barriers and ensuring Colombos can thrive and maintain their rich cultural heritage for the future. 7. Tourism in Colombos. The bridge between tradition and modernity. Tourism in Colombos offers visitors a unique opportunity to experience the rich culture and history of these communities. By exploring Colombos, tourists can learn about the traditions, daily life, and cultural practices that are fundamental to Colombo identity. This direct interaction fosters a deeper understanding and appreciation of the cultural contributions of Colombos to Brazil and the world. However, tourism also presents challenges, such as the need to respect and preserve the authenticity of local traditions. It is crucial that tourism development is sustainable, ensuring that Colombo communities are the primary beneficiaries. Community involvement in tourism planning and management is essential to ensure visits not only respect traditions, but also provide tangible benefits to residents. Promoting tourism in Colombos can be a powerful tool for cultural appreciation and economic strengthening. When responsibly managed, tourism can generate income that contributes to improved living conditions and infrastructure development in the communities. Moreover, it can raise awareness of the social and political issues faced by Colombos, generating support and solidarity. Integrating tourism into Colombo communities must be carefully planned to avoid negative impacts. Balancing cultural preservation with tourism promotion is essential to ensure that traditions are respected and development is sustainable. With a conscious and collaborative approach, tourism can serve as a bridge between tradition and modernity, fostering mutual understanding and respect for the rich heritage of Colombos.
8. Origins of capoeira, the fighting art disguised as dance. Exploring the origins of capoeira reveals the fascinating ingenuity of enslaved people in Bahia, who developed this martial art as a clever disguise. In an era of repression and control, slaves transformed their combat techniques into dance-like movements, creating a form of cultural and physical resistance. The captivating rhythm and fluid movements of capoeira concealed fighting skills that could be used for self-defense and the fight for freedom. Participating in a capoeira circle is to witness the ability to turn adversity into a vibrant form of expression. As capoeira evolved, it became a symbol of Afro-Brazilian resistance and creativity. What appeared to be an elegant dance actually contained complex combat techniques. Capoeira not only served to keep African culture alive, but also created a sense of community and solidarity among enslaved people. Today, capoeira celebrates cultural heritage and reminds us how resistance can manifest in unexpected ways. The secret training and disguise of capoeira were crucial for survival and the preservation of African traditions during intense oppression. Through capoeira, slaves maintained their cultural roots and prepared for potential confrontations, while African elements in the dance served as a constant reminder of their identity. The practice of capoeira is a testament to the Afro-Brazilian ability to adapt and transform traditions under adverse conditions. Today, capoeira transcends its origins as a form of resistance to become a global symbol of creativity and unity. In Salvador, capoeira is proudly practiced as a testimony to the resilience and strength of ancestors. Engaging with this tradition immerses participants in a rich history of struggle and survival, connecting them to a past that continues to influence and inspire current generations. 9. Prohibition and disguise of capoeira, the dance of resistance. Capoeira, with its roots in combat and resistance, faced a dark period of prohibition during colonization. Due to its fighting techniques and African cultural elements, colonial authorities viewed capoeira as a threat. In response, practitioners disguised capoeira as a folk dance to evade repression and continue its practice. This adaptation not only preserved the art, but also allowed capoeira to thrive as a cultural expression masked as entertainment. The prohibition of capoeira reflected the colonial authorities' fear of the power and cohesion it represented for Afro-Brazilians. In an attempt to eliminate this threat, capoeira was forced to hide under the guise of popular festivities. This transformation of a combat training into an apparently innocent dance was a remarkable demonstration of ingenuity and resilience. The disguise did not diminish capoeira's importance, but made it a subtler and more adaptable form of cultural resistance. Despite the restrictions, capoeira continued to evolve and diversify, maintaining its roots while adapting to new realities. The dance became a means of preserving African tradition and cultural identity under the constraints of colonial norms. The clandestine practice and secrecy surrounding capoeira demonstrated how resistance can manifest in creative and adaptive ways, challenging expectations and imposed restrictions. Although disguised as a folk dance, capoeira retained its essence as a martial art and a symbol of resistance. The legacy of this practice reveals Afro-Brazilians' ability to turn adversities into opportunities to preserve their cultural heritage. Today, watching a capoeira circle evokes a connection to a past of struggle and adaptation, celebrating the strength and creativity that enabled capoeira to survive and thrive. 10. Atabaques and their origin. The voice of the atabaques in Afro-Brazilian tradition. The atabaques, drums of African origin, hold a sacred and significant role in candomblé, an Afro-Brazilian religion. These instruments, used in religious ceremonies, are considered carriers of power and spiritual connection. Through the atabaques, practitioners of candomblé establish deep communication with the orixás, African deities. Attending a ceremony where the atabaques are played is an opportunity to experience the spiritual force and cultural depth these instruments represent. Over time, The atabaques have become central elements not only in candomblé, but also in capoeira and samba de roda. The adaptation of these instruments into different cultural expressions highlights their versatility and enduring importance in Afro-Brazilian life. In capoeira, for instance, the sound of the atabaque sets the rhythm and energy of the roda, blending martial practice with musical tradition. Samba de roda also incorporates the atabaques, showcasing African influences in festivals and celebrations. The introduction of atabaques into new forms of cultural expression reflects the ability of Afro-Brazilian communities to preserve and adapt their traditions. These drums, integral to religious practices, also play a significant role in social and cultural life, demonstrating how African traditions have been preserved and transformed over time. The persistence of atabaques in various cultural manifestations stands as a testament to the resilience and continuity of African heritage. Today, hearing the sound of the atabaques evokes the continuity of a tradition spanning centuries. Their presence in capoeira, samba de roda, and candomblé offers a glimpse into the rich African cultural heritage in Brazil. The importance of atabaques in cultural and religious life remains a vital link between the past and present, celebrating the strength and beauty of Afro-Brazilian tradition.
11. African influence on religion. The mysticism of African faith in Brazil. The arrival of African slaves in Brazil brought a profound impact on local religion, giving rise to candomblé. To preserve their faith and cultural identity under colonial oppression, Africans adapted their deities and rituals to Christianity. By associating orixás with Christian saints, they created a disguised form of worship that allowed the continuity of their spiritual practices. Attending a candomblé ritual is a chance to witness the unique fusion of beliefs and the richness of Afro-Brazilian spirituality. Candomblé not only preserved African traditions, but also enriched Brazil's religious landscape. Its vibrant ceremonies and sacred rituals reveal a rich tapestry of symbols and practices adapted to the Brazilian context. The Africans' ability to keep their faith alive through creative adaptations underscores the strength of cultural resistance and the importance of religion as a means of preserving identity. The continued practice of candomblé is a testament to the durability and vitality of African heritage. Over the centuries, African influence in candomblé has helped shape Brazil's religious identity, integrating African elements into local culture. The celebrations, dances, and chants that are part of candomblé reflect the rich African heritage and cultural adaptation. Participating in these ceremonies offers a unique perspective on the enduring impact of African spirituality and its capacity to create new forms of religious expression. The adaptation of African beliefs to Christianity did not erase the depth of their original spirituality, but transformed it into something new and relevant to the Brazilian context. Candomblé remains a source of identity and strength for Afro-Brazilian communities, preserving traditions and fostering a deep connection to the past. African spirituality, disguised and preserved, continues to illuminate religious and cultural life in Brazil. Are you traveling to Brazil? Travel knowing everything about the places you'll visit. Share this video with a friend who loves to travel.